My name is Christine Fishlock and I'm co-director of the Counselling Psychotherapy Centre, Swindon. I would like to introduce you to one of our valued therapists who works at the centre, Susan McNally-Mills. Hi Susan, it's good to talk to you today and hear about the interesting therapy work you do. Could you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'd be delighted, Christine. So I'm in private practice, humanistic and integrative therapist. I'm a registered member of BACP. I also have a creative background. So my initial background was in the arts, and I also work in prisons, delivering art as a therapeutic activity.
Okay. And how did you come into this work?
Well, I initially in my internship, I worked in drug and alcohol work, which I was really passionate. I was working there for several years, and it gave me a huge spectrum of experience. The actual addiction was, for me, the coping mechanism of the issues. And therefore, I feel I have a wide spectrum of experience, really, because it was addictions to a whole variety of substances, from cannabis to heroin. But I found that the actual substance use wasn't the issue. It was much more what the issue was behind it. And that was just the coping mechanism. So though I wouldn't call myself an addiction specialist, I do enjoy working in that field, but I feel that field has given me a huge spectrum of ability to work with a whole variety of issues. And I would have said that was the groundwork of my coming into practice, actually. Yeah.
Great. And what are you passionate about in the work that you do?
Oh dear. I'm very passionate about therapy. Why? I think most people who are in this field will have had some experiences that had brought them to therapy themselves. My passion also, I know what it's like to be in that chair. I know, it was part of my training to do my own work, and I know it takes a lot of courage to be a client. For me, the balance too, I think what I'm passionate about, and this was in my dissertation actually, was about the power of balance and how it needs to be equal, genuine. You need to be real as a therapist and genuine, and really understand what it's like to be opposite that therapist, especially for the first time. And I very much understand that experience. And that's important to me, that I stay very grounded and realize what it's like for you opposite me.
Great. And how does your specialism work? I wonder if you could say a little bit more about that, just for people who are listening, to encourage them to come.
Yeah, I would say my specialism is not going to be addictions or anxiety, or I think my specialism is bringing myself into that room and being as genuine and passionate and really, really care about what that person is bringing, and to hold them and care for them. Yeah, I would say that it would be reluctant to say I'm a specialist, and I wouldn't say I'm a jack of all trades. But for me, to be a specialist is somebody who's concentrated on one and taken that further through further degrees, etc. I have many qualifications and degrees in a variety of things, but I wouldn't call myself a specialist, because in actual fact, I think in the room, you're the expert on you. I'm a specialist in walking with you. That's about, I would say, it.
Yeah, that's really good to know. So what sort of people would benefit from coming to see you? What age ranges?
I work with 18 and above. Okay. I don't particularly work with younger adults. I also think it's really important to know that you have courage to come into that room. So I would also say that it's important for me that you're keen to do the work as well. I think that's very important.
Okay. So what would happen in early sessions? For example, the initial session, and then perhaps following on from that.
Right. So my initial is when people contact me, I will then email them back, or if it's via phone, I will, if they haven't caught me via phone, I will always ring them back. And I do that within 24 hours. That's quite an important point to make, because I do understand how when you make that call, if you're waiting and waiting, that is quite anxiety provoking if you do not hear from someone, and to be called back really as soon as possible, because obviously it's urgent when you ring something, not always urgent, but that call and that contact is important. So you make the initial call or contact. I contact you within 24 hours and we have a chat. I don't obviously charge for that chat. It's not a full session, but it's to see if we both fit, to see if we both feel we can work together. And I know from my own experience, there is something in that connection, in that first contact, in the voice, if it's by phone, or the tone of the email, that you will get a sense of whether, oh yeah, I think this could work, I'd like to try it. So then in that initial chat, we'll then discuss the time, the date, the costs, and then we go from there. In COVID at the moment, I am doing Zoom. And it's worth me mentioning that when we've had a few sessions and we do fit, I am working with clients at the moment where we walk and talk. And that's been really successful.
Oh, that's really good to know. Yeah, brilliant. So how long will it take? I think that's a question that many clients ask. So what would your response be to that?
I think for me, and I thought about this, because I thought about it in regard to myself. I think it's important that you're going to know. I will not know what your time frame is. As we work together, it may become apparent that you feel, okay, I've done a piece of work. I'm going to now see how that works in the wider world. And then I may come back, I may not. So it is a little bit of how long's a piece of string, but then I don't want you to feel unconfident about that, in that I have worked short term where people have only had 6 sessions, and that can be quite successful. And I have clients who've worked with me for several years. And I have clients who have worked every week, gone to every other week, and then tail off to once a month. I guess the important thing for me is we decide that together, but you're going to know more than me on what feels good for you. And I have an open door policy. So if you finish and then you, in 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 years, say, Sue, I'd like to come back, something's happened, I'm very happy with that. And again, I'm quite passionate about that is available.
Is there anything else you would like people to know that might help and encourage them to book a therapy session with you?
To have confidence, did you say?
Well, yeah, so it might encourage them to come and book a session with you.
I think it's important.
You've said a great deal, which is really, really helpful.
I think it's important as a potential client to see a few therapists initially. I know this is probably counterintuitive to what you're asking me, but I think it is quite important for people to realize that you have that choice. So I think if you do a little bit of that and then go by what feels right, you can never, and I think it's really important that I have been a client. You can even come to that first session and feel this is going to fit, but it may take 2 or 3 sessions. And to have the confidence to think, I'm the one looking. I'm the one that needs to feel comfortable. And that I very much concur that. So my encouragement to come to me would be that you're the expert on you, though you may not feel it. And I will encourage you to take that first step and see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you, Sue, for sharing the information about the beneficial work you do. And if you would like to contact Sue or get more information about her, this can be found on our Counselling and Psychotherapy Centre website, which is www.tcpc-swindon.co.uk. Once again, thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Christine. Bye.